Welcome to another edition of Let It Be Known. It's good to always be here with you guys. And RNG is saying no sound. Couldn't get a sound out there. You hear sound now? I don't know what's going on, but let me just double check. Sound is back. Okay. Oh gosh, lots going on. Obviously, we've heard the breaking news, if you will. Um, News alert. How about that? The Target fast has come to a screeching halt. It's over. Organizers said that it's over. Jamal Bryant and others in that group said that Target has commi- committed to DE&I. They're just calling it something different. And Lenina Turner, who was at the press conference yesterday, as you see there, said she's not going to shop at Target anymore. Jamal Bryant said that the campaign, the Target fast, was officially concluded, saying that they had extended it a few times in the past. It was only meant to be for 40 days. Um, However, Dr. Nakima Levy Armstrong and the Colors Doty and Jelani Hussein, they all said they're continuing out in Minneapolis. They said that while other efforts have gained all this national attention, the Target boycott already began in Minneapolis, Minnesota. They said we stood for us and with the community. They say we speak for us and we will never sell out our community crumbs or a seat at Target's corporate table. So we are asking people to continue to double down and hold Target accountable. Um, it's interesting because I'm hearing what Jamal Bryant has said. I'm hearing Saw Roland's broadcast, and this is what people are saying as a RNG. The Target deal sounds shady. The thing with Target, and it's funny because Jamal Bryant and that crew said that Target has met about 97% of its pledge. Well, I could have told you that a year ago. Um, Met with Target officials uh, last May with Dr. Chavis, Ben Chavis, and they laid it out for us at a meeting at the Eaton Hotel in Washington, D.C. in May of 2025. And they put it on the table. This is the commitment we made. And even then, they were very cautious in saying that, look, we haven't really changed anything. You got a madman in the White House who says that uh, anything is DE and anything that he might perceive as DE and I. In other words, anytime you're doing business with black, Latino, what women, whatever, it's DE&I. And they laid it out. This is what we're doing at HBCUs. We haven't stopped. The programs that they've had at HBCUs and what that they laid out for us is amazing. It didn't start with this Target fast or boycott. It did. They have been doing it all along. When they made that pledge in 2020, the uh, what was it, $2 billion commitment? They laid it out. This is what we have been doing. This is what we are doing. Said, oh, the Essence that the Essence Fest got money from them. Well, that was a continuation of a relationship that was already there. And also, Then came along the National Baptist Convention. They got a couple of bucks from them, and Target kept rolling along, taking the hits. I have to commend like Kiera Fernandez and the leaders over there at Target. I don't know this new CEO. Um, I know Lauren Burke got a chance to talk to and really remain the only journalist to talk to Brian Cornell on camera. But they kept their head down, plowing through. They went to uh, diversity events everywhere. Even though publicly they had to take that stand that we had to not call it DE&I. They didn't eliminate anything. I'm not here to defend Target. Look, obviously, folks in Minneapolis, Nakima Levy and company, still have issues, continue to have issues with Target. And Nakima has spelled out those issues, and Target has denied that they are involved in some of the things that Nakima has alleged. But Target kept its head down, its corporate head down. They lost money, they lost big money, and they, continue to support certain, entities, as we said, like the Essence Fest, like the National Baptist Convention. And then the Target Foundation then, supported the National Newspaper Publishers Association, the Black Press of America. And it is my understanding, I don't know where it's at now, but it's my understanding that there is a digital ad deal between, Target Corporation and the Black Press of America. You could argue that it should be a much bigger deal than what I understand it to be. My understanding is absolutely correct. But from what I understand, um, and I'm not gonna sit here and give numbers. I think that's not right to do to, Dr. Chapin and NBA. But the ad deal to me sounds like, mm, it should have been stronger, could have been a lot more for our, for the publishers. But again, it is, I wasn't in those negotiations. So I'm pretty sure that Dr. Chavis felt like he made the best deal possible for his publishers. But Target never wavered. They were losing money, and they could have, you know, really, you think about it, they could have gone completely the other way with the pressure that was put on them, including from this Target fast, including from the ongoing boycott. They could have just said, you know what? The guy on Pennsylvania Avenue has all the power. He'll take care of us if we say the heck with y'all. And they did. They did. RNG says the Target fast deal sounds shady. Now there are gonna be some, and maybe one day we'll find out, maybe we'll never know, and maybe it is what it is. But there are gonna be some who speculate that Jamal Bryant and that faction may have gotten a nice check to go away or to stop the fast. Um, no one has said that. No one has publicly said money changed hands. And it seems like it would be in the best interest of the new CEO with all that he has on his plate. Because remember, he's just now taking over. Cornell's farewell tour took a while. It would have been just as fine if he came in. it bode well for him, I think, to say, hey, what can we do to put this behind us? It's a fresh start. I'm starting new. Let's move forward. And it just seems that somebody would have a check would have been written to somebody to say, hey, okay, let's do this. Let's stop this. Um, but again, what the announcement said from Jamal Bryant and on Roland show is that hey, uh, they're not stopping DE and I. They're just doing it under a different name, pretty much. But again, that's something that Target told me and Dr. Chavis a year ago in our meeting with them. Our meeting came about a month after Al Sharpton met with Target. And folks speculate then that Al Sharpton got real quiet and even announced that he was not a part of the boycott after his meeting with Brian Cornell. And people speculated, well, Sharpton probably, uh, had some sort of side deal with Target. Not far fetched, but it was really curious that Sharpton decided, I'm not part of the boycott. I have my meeting, and I'm done with it. It's very curious knowing what we know about Al Sharpton. But it could also be that Al Sharpton saw what Dr. Chavis and I saw from Target and did his own little investigation and found that Target was absolutely telling the truth. That they were not dialing back anything. That they were meeting their pledges. See, some of this sometimes you have to take responsibility. You have to take ownership. And I think a lot of us fail to take ownership of one major fact. Contracts mean a lot. Contracts tend to stand up in the court of law. And when this George Floyd situation happened, I was very vocal. And I'm sure others probably were too. I didn't hear them, but I'm pretty sure they were in their circles. I was very vocal. I even said to Dr. Chavis and those at NMPA who would listen that you gotta do some. You gotta get these people to commit. Put it in writing. Get contract. Get long-term contract. Get 5-year, 10-year commitments from folks like Target. And I remember, and again, it's certainly no shade. Dr. J was more of a businessman than I. He's the president and CEO. But I remember clearly him saying to me, things have changed. And it seemed like it did, right? You had global Black Lives Matter marches and protests and demonstrations. No, folks have finally realized they got to do business with us. And that year, the year of the pandemic, when everything was shut down, George Floyd had been murdered. I remember Dr. Chavis saying that the Black press had made more money that year than it ever had position. And even then I said, get Target, get these people, not just Target, McDonald's, all of them, get long-term commitments. And folks, and I think Doc was one of them, felt like, no, we didn't really have a whole lot to worry about going forward. And that's the way it appeared it was going in that direction. But I just think that that was where we failed. And it's not just the black press, it was so many others who failed. So many others. And the next question becomes, okay, so you had this year-long, basically, Target fast. We know that Target, and if we accept that Target, because I have, and apparently Jamal Bryant has, we accept that they've been meeting and in Target's words, exceeding their pledges. What about those other companies that have completely stepped away, not only stepped away from diversity efforts, but have gone totally against it, that have gone straight MAGA? See, I think the way, and again, maybe I'm wrong, this is how I see it. The way that they did this, it gives McDonald's and others who have gone against, publicly just gone against anything diversity related. It gives them no incentive to say, okay, we better get our house in order. We better get our act together. It gives them no incentive whatsoever. And that's the bad look of this. But this is how we play. So many, we had recently two black owned newspapers, Portland Scanner and Richmond Free Press, closed its doors for the last time. This business has been on the cuffs of going totally dead with all these citizen journalists, et cetera, et cetera. Nobody wants to do advertising, meaningful advertising. Part of that, again, we can't put it all on this administration. It's our lack of action, proaction, that helped put us in this corner. Can we dig out? It remains to be seen. But we can never seem to get complete and total cooperation with each other on camera, which has always been a thorn, an issue. So we will see. We will see what goes on from here. But again, the Target fast, if you will, is over. But again, in Minneapolis, that boycott led by Nikema Levy Armstrong continues. They say they have their reasons. I think uh, the reasons that at least what that was laid out in the fast, Target has proven that they have met those and have continued to, despite the opposition from um, predominantly black uh, entities and customers, they continue to do the right thing. All right, how much are you paying for gas? Oh, oh my goodness, uh, things are things are getting worse and worse on that front, aren't isn't it? Member countries of the International Energy Agency unanimously agreed yesterday to release 400 million barrels of oil into the global market. It's the largest release of emergency oil uh, in history. It's a drastic move that they hope, shores up crude supplies and cap a surge in the prices caused by the conflict in the Middle East. This amount far surpasses the 182 million barrels of oil that countries put into the market in two tranches in 2022 when Russia launched its full-scale operation against Ukraine. United States, which is an IEA member, then sold another 180 million barrels from its strategic petroleum reserve over a 6-month period that year. Well, but here's the problem. Despite all of this eye-catching size of the latest release, experts say the move is going to do very little to offset an even bigger oil supply shock from a near shutdown of the Strait of Hormuz, which is ordinarily the conduit for around a fifth of daily global oil production, but currently impassable to tankers because of the war. That blockade means that's about 15 million barrels of crude oil and 5 million barrels of other oil products. They're choked off from the global markets every single day. Um, so oil prices in the U.S. have risen um, on average uh, by 60 cents. The average price now is 3.58 a gallon. And again, somebody said that gas prices are going to go down, egg prices are going to go down. Somebody said, but here we are. Here we are. Um, they're not, and they're rising. That's where that's where we are. And making matters worse. Making matters worse is unemployment. DC, Washington DC, the nation's capital, folks, now holds the highest unemployment rate in the country. According to new information from the Economic Policy Institute, it shows that DC recorded a jobless rate of 5.9% last year. But the headline number only tells part of the story because when the labor market weakens, pain does not fall evenly. Across this nation, unemployment averaged about 4.3% last year, but for black workers, it jumped to about 7%. For white workers, it was 3%, which means that black Americans were twice as likely to be unemployed. And that gap is not limited to a few places. It shows up almost everywhere in the country. I'll give you a for instance, in Michigan, for instance, black unemployment climbed to more than 10%. So many black folks in Michigan out of work. Nevada was right behind it, but at almost 10%. 6 states and Washington, D.C., all reported black unemployment rates above 8%. The youth, the black youth unemployment rate, 30%. And even in places where the overall economy kind of feels stable, the divide is still there. In Maryland, for instance, black workers were nearly 3 times as likely to be unemployed than white workers. And there was not a single state where black and white workers faced unemployment at the same rate. Not a single state. Latino workers have it uh, hard too. Pennsylvania recorded the highest Hispanic unemployment rate in the nation. Yeah, economists are saying that the federal job layoffs and cuts, the tariffs, they all are factors in this. And they always say, and I hate to hear people say this, and the reason I hate to hear them say it is because they say it, I've heard it too many times. When America catches a cold, black folks catch pneumonia. Well, the Economic Policy Institute agrees. They say when the economy weakens, black workers are still the first to lose jobs and they're the last to get them back. So, it's an uphill climb, folks. It's an uphill climb. The unemployment rate is sky high, particularly for African Americans. Sky high. But this is where we at. Gotta switch gears to some more encouraging, if you will. Victor Glover is set to make history as the first black astronaut to travel to the moon. He's going to the moon. He's gonna pilot NASA's Artemis 2 that mission. It'll be a crew of 3, and it's going to mark the return of America to the moon. According to Essence magazine, Mr. Glover, he is 49 years old, and he's going to fly alongside Commander Reed Weissman, NASA mission specialist Christina Koch, who will be the first woman star sailor going to the moon, and Canadian Space Agency mission specialist Jeremy Hansen. They will all be on that same mission. The crew will orbit the moon and face about 45 minutes of total communication blackout while passing over its far side. Come to the far side. But Mr. Glover called the mission a moonshot for his generation. He says that he loves that we call great things that humans do moonshots. He says our generation gets to have our own moonshots, not just referencing what we did in the 60s and 70s. And it's interesting because Mr. Glover never originally planned to become a pilot. He grew up in California. His dream was to be a Navy SEAL, join the Navy SEALs. His father was the one who encouraged him to combine his engineering degree with flight training, which led him to become an astronaut and now to this historic moon mission. Now, they plan to collect vital data, or they call it vital data, to support um, NASA's goal of a crewed moon landing around 2028. He says that people need to be able to see themselves in the things that they dream about and not just have to color it in their mind's eye. So, Victor Glover is going to the moon. To the moon, Alice. Good for him. Good for him. Um, and again, now we're gonna go to Hollywood because Colman Domingo, of course, he's stepping into the role of Joe Jack in the new biopic. It's called Mike. He's a two-time Oscar nominee, and he says that the project is meant to honor Michael, despite past tensions with Paris Jackson, Michael's daughter, who indeed, and in fact, was in court again yesterday. She is going hard after Michael's estate, but she's also had issues along with her aunt Janet, which we I first reported for Page Six, the big brouhaha between Janet and Jermaine about the film. TMZ is taking some credit, although it's so interesting because I look at TMZ's article and they so exclusive, yet they cite my art. How do you do that? Come on, Harvey. You can shoot me a couple of bucks. But Coleman Domingo says that he's hopeful that Michael's daughter will climb aboard. Now, Michael's oldest son, Prince Michael number one, is one of the producers on the film. Apparently, reportedly anyway, Paris Jackson drifted away from the film after some of the elements uh, that she felt were inaccurate about the story was ignored. Now, what's interesting about it is, and people say, "Well, it's his daughter, and she should know what's accurate." This story takes place decades before she was conceived, born. It ends actually, from what I understand, in the 1980s. It covers, young Michael up until Thriller. When he released Thriller, he was like 24 years old, and you know, his brother, Michael's brother, Jackie, also lent some expertise to this, and Jackie's the oldest brother. He would know what's accurate and inaccurate. I just think she's getting some real awful advice from whether it's Janet, Randy, or whomever she's getting it from. But Colman Domingo described the challenge of portraying Joe Jackson um, as a man both celebrated for nurturing iconic talent and criticized for his parenting methods. Coleman said that he focused on the full humanity of Joe Jackson, and he explored how complex of an individual Joe Jackson was, and how he could shape the careers of some of the most influential artists in music history. But Coleman Domingo said it was important that they show both the discipline and the influence that defined Joseph Jackson. And the thing is, and I knew Joseph Jackson quite well. Was around him quite often. Spent a lot of time, and I think that um, how Coleman is describing it is spot on. Because there were times, you at the house, and Joe is on his way to the house, and like the grandkids, including the star of like oh, granddad stuff, and they kind of like okay, bracing themselves on what they're gonna get this time, as far as what personality is coming through that door. But he was very upfront about things too, very direct, in a lot of ways, and people will find this strange. They might find it strange, but in a lot of ways, I thought of all of them, not including Michael, because I didn't have that type of relationship with Michael that I had with his family. But Joe was probably the most honest of all of them, and that says a lot for somebody who cheated on his wife. He was very honest. When you spoke to him, he was very direct, very honest, um, not a lot of emotion, very bossy. There were times where I had to say to him, "I don't work for you. You're asking me for something. You asked me to do something. I don't and if I agree to do it, I'll do it. But on my your emergency is not mine." And that was the thing about him and about a lot of people like him. If you don't stand up, they don't respect you. But when you stand up, they're not gonna change, but they are going to respect you. And all of my conversations with him, I think that it's fair to me, at least I feel that I had earned that man's respect. And not that, not that it was that important. But the fact is that some people you have to say, "Hey, relax, this ain't, my last name ain't Jackson, and this ain't the '60s or '50s where you would beat the crap out of them." I think he carried that with him, and even at you know, as they got older and became grown men, I think he still carried that he still either had the ability or should have the ability to crack the whip. Could you imagine Jackie, 60 years old, at Joseph, and I would go to your room? But it's gonna be interesting. Um, Colman Domingo, two-time Oscar-nominated actor. They have done so much to build this film up as if it needed building up, because Michael has the most loyal fans ever. They're gonna flock to the theater. They are flocking to the theaters anyway. So um, it's going to be very interesting to see what the final um, box office, what type of money this brings in, and I think it's going to be record breaking constantly. They're going to set new records everywhere, and that's despite, I mean, there are allegations going on still against him, and lawsuits. But I think people remember well, and though they remember well the good things, and there was so many of that, so much of that, and then you got a new generation that wants to get more insight on him. And as I've continued to say, this film is a celebration, a gift to his fans. So it's going to be interesting to see the full film and how Coleman Domingo portrays Joseph. And of course, the most anticipated is how Michael's nephew, Jafar, portrays Michael. So, and again, I can't say enough about how the estate kept that in the family. That is an amazing thing. All right, we're gonna go out to our girl, Shawnee B, and see what she's talking about.
Tuning in to Shawnee's Wild. It's your girl, Shawnee B. And if you're cool, you got to cool. Oh, yeah.
Disclaimer. At this point, California knows how to party. California. Baby, y'all having a good time with y'all little ass because they are revving it up on stealing these jewelries from these jewelry stores. Now, at this point, y'all just need to get y'all one of them like cage iron fence doors where you can hit the automatic trigger on that because they are driving through your windows to come rob you. They are coming in and shooting your windows up to rob you. And I'm scared to figure out what they are going to attempt next. Now, I have a video to show you what happened a few business weeks ago, probably business months ago in California. And you know I keeps the video on me. So let's roll this beam footage. Let's go. Oh, hey. Call 911. Baby, look. It's getting nasty out here, baby. Folks ain't trying to work. They said allegedly, baby, because anytime they give you a price, it's more than that. $750,000 worth of jewelry was taken in a smash and grab heist. Oh my God. Say what? Say what? Say what? This is not the first time. This ain't the second time. It's not going to be the last time. These folks are taking their time planning out how they're going to rob you. Now, they're not executing how they're going to get away because they failing at that tremendously because this thing said they left in two separate vehicles and they both crashed about a mile apart from each other and they detained 7 people. So at this point, y'all not executing exit plan. You got the enter plan, but not the exit. So if the joke's on your ugly ass. But as a jeweler, what are you going to do out here? Because you're seeing other jewelry stores being targeted. And I don't know if you're sitting there saying, well, that's not in my area. Baby, they moving and grooving. At first, they was doing this type of heist at the Coach store, the Nordstrom store. Now they're doing it back at the jewelry store. It ain't safe. It ain't safe. It ain't safe. It ain't safe. At this point, whoever the 7 are, depending on how many of you guys are involved total, somebody gonna snitch because ain't nobody gonna take the charge while everybody else out kicking and eating ice cream and stuff. Baby, look. I remember I had a job offer to work at a jewelry store, but it was always in the back of my mind, working at a bank and working at a jewelry store was always going to put me at risk. So I just always said, no, thank you. Because, it's a beautiful job. You're around a lot. You can learn a lot. But, baby, I ain't got time for people to be trying to come up in there and steal from me. This ain't mine, so y'all can have it. Again, jewelry stores, high alert. I don't care if you just think it's only happening in California. It can happen anywhere. People need money, and people know that they could melt that crap down, and it will never, ever existed on Earth after it's stolen, even though you get insurance policies on it. Once they melt it down, they get that cash in hand, they're going to do it again. So at this point, you're going to have to beef up the security. You're going to have to invest in having you an armed guard on hand, and then basically probably, if you can afford it, a sniper. Somebody on the outside of the building looking in because you're not seeing it. He said, hey, he did one of these. Like somebody was going to say, sir, wrong store. Y'all, they done draw that Nissan into that door like they ain't give a damn. They didn't. And they won't. So at the end of the day, y'all better be mindful that these folks out here want the money, the $100 bills, y'all. So good luck. Good luck. I'm glad nobody died and nobody was injured because that's getting a little loose out there. It's about to be summertime. And they finna hit a lick on y'all real good. So go ahead and take the investment out, build up your security, or just probably have an online store back. Because at this point, having a physical brick and mortar is putting y'all in debt. But good luck to those that got caught. Don't drop the soap. But I'm just a messenger. It's your girl, Shiny B. If you're cool with your girl, go on food with your girl. Make sure you check out my website. Yes. www.shinybeentertainment.com. Check out the fan gear. Option to drop donations, but never any pressure to do either of the two because I see the likes, the shares, the comments. Means the world to me. So I just want to tell you thank you from my lips to your ears for rocking with me because y'all could be anywhere in the world, but y'all come keep me company for a few business minutes, and I appreciate you. Hop in the comments. Like I said, everybody's finding some type of money grab situation, whether it's doing it from a jewelry heist perspective, going into the bank, sliding them a note, whether you're stealing cars and chopping them down, transferring drugs to unknown locations. Baby, these folks are trying to find a way. Jail is not scary no more. Prison ain't either. So at the end of the day, we gonna figure it out. But y'all, stay easy. Don't be breezy. And until next time, next story. And I'm out this piece.
Oh gosh, it is always some drama there. Love the way she brings us the news, man. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool, and it's pretty cool to keep having you guys join us. And we will keep at it. We will keep at it, and we'll get this thing to perfection eventually. As Mimi Green always says, Washington Informer, perfection. We will. But in the meantime, and the between time, keep supporting us because we will continue news that you can use on Let It Be Nick.